The reason why it is hard for you to love yourself is because you don't respect the woman that you are. And the reason why we don't respect ourselves as women as much as men is because there has been so many factors that contribute to this. We're taught to suppress, we're taught to not be assertive because if you're assertive it's rude, if you speak up you're a witch, if you have any kind of pushback, if you have any kind of disagreement with authority or those in charge, you're seen as someone who causes problems. You're seen as somebody who doesn't know how to fall in line, who is just being disrespectful on some level when that is not your intent. When you speak up and you say, hey, well, I don't like this, it's always seen as something that is just rude. And that is layered with other things when it comes to us as women, to suppress our emotions, to keep a smile. How many times as women have you had someone tell you to smile? How often do they tell men to smile? And there's just this continual thing in society, this message being pushed of you need to be this way. You need to act this way in a more docile, compliant manner. You need to make sure that you conduct yourself in a way that is agreeable at all times. Any kind of pushback is a problem. So you're taught and you learn to suppress how you feel, to mask the anger, to push aside the moments of hurt or pain or any kind of thing that comes up with you when it comes to frustration or what. It's like you're not supposed to show that. You're not supposed to demonstrate any of that. You're supposed to be a good girl with a nice smile on your face. You do what you're told. You don't have any pushback, and any kind of negative feelings, don't you ever show them. What this does is creates inauthenticity. It creates a lot of resentment in women, and it creates this energy of just, I'm going to keep up a front, I'm going to keep up appearances, but I can't be myself because who I am and how I feel doesn't matter. And it's more so about being what others expect me to be. That is who I am. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's the part and the role that I'm supposed to play. You're either assertive or you're a doormat. Those are the two options that we have as women most times in the workplace. And if you are brave enough to express any kind of anger, then you're perceived as rude and disrespectful. And you're told, calm down. You need to calm down. You need to take it down a notch. And so it becomes normal for us as women to play this role, to not have any pushback. It becomes normal for us to silence ourselves. It becomes normal for us to suppress any kind of negative emotion for fear of being perceived as antagonistic. It becomes normal for us to abandon ourselves, to abandon and suppress and disregard our feelings, our desires, our wants, our needs. It's about making sure to cater to other people. That's your role as a woman. That's what you're here for. That's it. And so continually visiting this state of inauthenticity, just suppressing and disregarding and abandoning, when that becomes your default, when that becomes the norm for you, your inner voice, there's this disappointment. You feel the need to express yourself. You feel the need to say something, to stand up for yourself. But all you do is continually cater to everybody else. You suppress and you push it to the side. And in yourself, deep in your heart, it's like, I can't really respect myself for that. I'm a pushover. I'm a doormat. You start to lose confidence within yourself because you're too busy being what other people need you to be. And that continual suppression of pushing down. After a while, it's like, well, what kind of backbone do I have? You don't respect yourself. It's hard to respect that. You just go with the flow. You do whatever you're told. You do whatever other people want you to do, and you be however they need you to be. And you just don't matter. You are just silenced. And when you have done that for so long, it's hard to love yourself. It's hard to love that person. It's like, okay, well, I've been in this place of just suppressing and ignoring and telling myself how invaluable I am, having no worth, having no respect for myself, just completely disregarding what it is that I need. So how can I really love myself? It's hard to do that because I do not respect myself. So in my own journey, when I started to realize that this was my reality, I just got to a place of, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not healthy. It's not. I feel that, okay, I'm going to do the complete opposite. And most times we go from overly passive to overly aggressive. And I'm not trying to do either of those things. I don't believe that that is the intent that God has for us as women. I'm all about being in the happy medium area, not trying to be passive, not trying to be overly aggressive, but being right in a place of health. Health for me is being in alignment with God's intent for women. That is health for me. That is what I believe is the healthy approach and the best approach, and the place on the spectrum where we should align and be. When I operate from a place of being in alignment with how God intended me to be, to understand that I'm redeemed, to understand that I'm loved, to understand that I'm forgiven, to understand that I am His daughter, to be in this place where I know that God has a purpose for me, that He created me to fulfill this mission and to do this work for Him and for His cause. When I operate from that place, then all my decisions from that place are from a place of health. My decisions from that place will be based off of what His intent is for me, and not what the world says, not what my past says, not what this person's perception is of me. It's about, this is who God says I am, and I operate from that place. When I have a clear understanding of that, then the decisions that I make and the boundaries that I need to put in place will be in alignment with that. Then I can say, this is a line. This is where I do not ever want to cross. This is where I need to place certain people. This is what I will and will not do. That's the line that God has made clear for me by me understanding my identity in Him and understanding His purpose for me and why He created me and why I'm here and what it is that I need to do. When you view and see yourself as valuable and operate from a place of high self-worth and understanding that God has created you with intent and purpose, and you carry yourself with that level of value, then you'll be willing to walk away from certain things. Then you'll be willing to say that this is not for me, and I will speak up about it, and I'll let you know where I stand, and I will not tolerate this. I am willing to leave this situation. I'm willing to leave this environment. I'm willing to walk away from this if it's going to run risk of me abandoning myself again. And this is why I push for women to speak up. I push for women to have a voice. I push for women to operate from a place of value and self-worth. Because if you operate from that place, if you're willing to say, this is something that I'm not going to put up with anymore. This is the standard for me. This is how I'm going to deal with this situation. These are the parameters set. If you want to interact with me, you make it clear to the next person that you value yourself and you respect yourself. When you don't do those things, it indicates to yourself that you don't respect yourself. It creates this self-loathing. It creates this shame and this regret and this pain that can easily be avoided and remedied if you could just have a voice and just stand up for yourself and understand that you do have value and you do have worth. The problem is that too many times we're so controlled by the emotions of other people and the opinions of other people, because we're taught to people please, especially us as women. And the minute someone's angry, you fold. The minute they sense a frustration or they get loud or they get aggressive, it's like you just shrink and you just lose all of your power, and you give them the power and you allow them to basically dictate how you operate and how you show up. You alter the person that you are. You shift and change and morph into what they need, and you abandon yourself. The question is, are you courageous enough to be unattached from their opinions? From how they're going to view you, from how it's going to look? Can you be unattached from the outcome that you are creating in your mind these stories and thinking that, okay, well, it's going to be this and that, and the people pleasing and all of this, can you be brave enough to say, I'm no longer going to abandon myself and my feelings and my wants and my desires? I'm no longer going to silence my voice, regardless of how it's going to look. I can gracefully, tactfully let you know exactly how I feel and what I think. Will you respect yourself enough as a woman to say that I will no longer tolerate this behavior? I will no longer put up with this thing. This is how I require those who want to interact with me to interact with me. These are my parameters. And if it doesn't work for you, then that's okay. Are you capable of operating from a place of value and having high self-worth, understanding whose daughter you are? I had to ask myself these same questions. And I decided that I'd rather be respected than loved. And when people hear me say that, they think that it sounds kind of rough and a little bit too abrasive. But I say that because love is nothing without respect. If I don't have that honor, that admiration for myself, if I don't have that respect within myself, it's hard to love myself. If I keep breaking my promises to myself, if I don't keep my word to myself, if I'm not doing what I said I would do, if I don't conduct myself from a place of value, then it's hard to respect myself and it's hard to love myself. And that's why I'm challenging you right now. What kind of woman do you want to be? Do you want to be loved for what you're not? Or do you want to be respected for who you are?